Hey everyone, thanks for tuning to this week's GTM News Show. This week I'm pulling a clip from a conversation I had with Mandy McEwen on the recent event I did around B2B Outbound. She talks all about social selling. And honestly, I think we need to have a different term for social selling. I think it should be like social networking or social connection, building relationships, anything other than selling, because actually what Mandy shares in this episode is some great tips around building relationships and building that credibility, building that trust before you go into sell. So let's tune in to my conversation with her, and thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on. I've been following your content on LinkedIn for a while around social selling. So in the next 8 to 9, 10 minutes or so, give us your rundown on your best practices for social selling.
Yes, definitely. So this was a perfect tee up for Will's awesome chat there. And what I like about what we're talking about today is we're all talking about ways to stand out, right? Like Will's talking about, hey, you need to look different. You need to be different. So what I love about social selling is it allows you to stand out. And so when we're talking today about cold email and cold calling and all the ways to stand out, when you start with social, it's actually not that cold, right? So we're trying to start on social to build these relationships, to engage with people. And that is the way everything is shifting, right? Every single person that's on this today, all these speakers, they have a presence on LinkedIn. They understand the power of social selling. They could all talk about the same things I'm about to talk about because they get it. So we're not in a silo anymore. We're not just doing cold call, cold email. Like it really needs to come together because that is the way that the market has shifted. So people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So if I'm going to reach out to you, Taylor, and I'm going to hit you up on cold email or even cold call, and you might be interested in my product, you might visit my LinkedIn profile. And if it's crap and I haven't posted in 9 months and there's like 2 things on it, you might be like, nah, I don't know. Right. And this isn't even if I'm reaching out on LinkedIn, I'm talking about like, this is where people go. They're looking to see, does this person have a presence and a company? So this is the power of social. And the challenge is with salespeople, that's why I'm here in Vegas right now speaking about this exact same thing, is they're just not doing it. They're just, quite frankly, they're not doing it. And it's almost like you don't know what you don't know. Like they don't understand it. They don't know really how they should be using it. They're just leveraging Sales Navigator to do some basic research and maybe to build some lists. So they're not taking it that step further. Like when I was speaking yesterday in front of 379 plus people here in Vegas, and I asked a question like, how many of you are leaving comments? Like at least, 1 comment a week on people's posts, right? And like, there's like 2 people that raise their hand, it's like, they're not even leaving comments. And so I want to talk now about my friendly leader method, which is essentially what I just said. But this works really well when obviously people are active. I understand that not all of our prospects are actively using LinkedIn, but there's other ways you can do this. You can even engage with a company page and then start dialogue from there. But how my friendly leader method works is you have a list of prospects. Obviously, this works amazingly if you have Sales Navigator. If not, you can still do this with the free version of LinkedIn or LinkedIn Premium. But you go and you engage with them. So if they're posting content, awesome, engage with it, leave a comment, like it, etc. If they're not, look for something else on their profile that you can relate to. You can call something out that's personal. You could also go engage with their company content. So I've actually had clients land clients they were going after from engaging with their company content alone because they start to see that familiar face, and then they start engaging with other people, sending connection requests throughout the company. And then you send a connection request after you engage with, whether it's, on Twitter even, right? It could be anything. Like look to see where this person is. What are they doing on social? Are they on Twitter? We talked about Twitter yesterday too, because in tech, Twitter or X, I'm still not used to calling it X, is still a viable, way to reach out to people, to engage, to retweet, to respond, to start the dialogue. So it's all about starting that conversation and then standing out. So what can we do to mention that, like, hey, I actually did my homework and I know about you? Like, let's seem like real human beings here. Like we're talking, that's why I call it my friendly leader method. Because essentially as salespeople, we're just trying to be everyone's friend. And if we're doing that in a way that is genuine and it doesn't come across slimy, it works really well because most salespeople are just like, I want to hit my numbers. I want to blast out as many as I can, throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks. So that's the method that I have been utilizing my clients, and it's successful, but you have to think outside the box too when it comes to, where are these people hanging out? Does that make sense?
I love it, Mandy. Anything from a leadership standpoint, because I imagine especially building relationships, building friendships takes time, right? It's not just the sales cycle or the marketing cycle, if you would. is going to be longer than maybe some people expect, but it proves to, great results in the long run. How to create a culture of it, and how can leaders create a culture? If you mind, a follow-up question.
Yeah, that is a really great question. Lead by example, right? So when I'm working with companies, I want the leaders to actually do what I'm saying. And so the best successes that I've seen with companies that I've worked with is the leaders are doing the same things that I'm telling the SDRs and AEs to do, right? So if we can get them to at least partly do what we're talking about here and get them to, it's all about like, we need buy-in from the top. Like we need people to believe in this. It's not just about what tactics do we do, how do we talk to people, how do we resonate, how do we not look like a slimy salesperson like everyone else. Those are all like, obviously, okay, we agree with that. But does leadership actually believe in the power of social? Do they believe that this works? And what are they doing themselves? And so it all starts at the top, right? And so it's difficult to come into an organization where the leaders aren't doing crap on social, and they don't really care. Unless they're ready to change, and make that change and care. That's a whole different ballgame. But we have to have the leaders also be in this, because this is what their teammates are looking to them for also, is like, hey, I want to see, like, if you believe in this and you're doing it, then I'm going to follow suit. But if you don't, why the hell am I doing it?
Well said. Love that, Mandy. Any thoughts on even, I'm sure you have lots of thoughts on this as far as like time commitment and, how much, especially from a leader, if a C-suite or whatnot, they're thinking about integrating this, and then for the rest of their org, I can see, especially leading by example, time, right? How do I have time? And then how do you think about that? And how do you advise your clients on that?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I am a huge fan of time blocking. And so we have a 1 hour a day checklist that we have for our clients, and we encourage everyone to time block. And I do it in 15-minute increments. So for example, every single day, and it could vary on the day depending on what you have going on, but it could be spend 15 minutes leaving comments on prospects and industry leaders posts. Spend another 15 responding to messages. Spend another 20, sending X number of connection requests. Send another 20 on looking in Sales Navigator. So when you are serious about doing this and you actually put specifics, not just like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour a day on LinkedIn. We have a checklist, look at it, follow it. Don't just like go on and meander around. And then before you know, it's 50 minutes later and you've done absolutely nothing, like you have to be diligent with your time. But this also goes back to leadership too, is like, are you allowing your people to make an effort, a concentrated effort on LinkedIn? Because it's all about consistency, right? Social is all about consistency. You have to be doing it every single day for it to actually pay dividends. And so I love the time blocking strategy because it's there, it's on your calendar, and it's very specific on what they want to do. And then they can even set a timer. So that's ideally how I like to go about doing it. And it keeps everyone structured because, our days are crazy. Like there's so much going on. We're getting bombarded. And if we can have that time and then just shut everything out and actually do it, it doesn't take very long for you to see results.
I love that. I'm sure you get better and better the more you do it, obviously, and that consistency over time. Any closing thoughts, Mandy?
Yeah, so closing thoughts is just do it. I feel like, and this is coming up more and more. I've been doing this for a very long time, but specifically social selling, concentrated effort just in the last few years. And confidence is a huge thing. So if I can leave you all with anything, it's like have the confidence to go out there and do what we're talking about because there's not enough people doing it. And so you might be worried, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to comment. I don't know what to post. You just have to go out there and do it and realize that you're the only one judging yourself. Like you're looking too far into it. You're thinking too much. Just go out there, do it, engage, build relationships, send messages, send voice notes, send videos, like act like you would in person at a conference to people, right? Like always think of that. Like, what would I say to this person if I was face to face with them? And you just have to be consistent. But the biggest thing that, that I see over and over again is just the confidence factor of like, I'm scared. I don't know what to say. What if I say the wrong thing? And it's just when you get in the habit of doing it time and time again, it just becomes like second nature and easy, and you build your confidence up over time.
Love it. Well said, Mandy. Thank you so much for coming on. Folks, go follow her on LinkedIn. Got some great information around social selling. Thanks again, Mandy. Safe travels.
Thanks for having me, Taylor. Bye.